Hey guys, today's April the 7th of 2015 and I want to go over the euro dollar and the US dollar using price and time technical analysis. So please pause the video and read the video disclaimer. As you guys already know, I have a blog that I do my updates, and sometimes when I don't have time to do a video, I just do a quick little update and put some of my thoughts on the dollar, on the euro, or on pretty much on the Forex. But this is a place that, if you want to just kind of follow what my thought patterns are and my opinions are and my analysis on Forex, price and time, subscribe. And this is a community that I have, and interesting, this thing has grown from like the last time I did the video. 258 members and growing. So come aboard, contribute to the board. All I ask is that, it's not a marketing thing. I rather have people just post their thoughts on what they think the euro is doing, their technical analysis, and share and learn from each other. But, say, come join this blog or this thing or whatever, this thing is not about that. I've seen other ones where there's just a lot of stuff there, and I'm sure you guys just want some technical analysis, some charts, some analysis, what other people are thinking, what other people are watching. Maybe I'm seeing something that you're not seeing, or if you post something, maybe I'm not aware of something that I missed in my analysis. So pretty much this is what it is. That's why I keep it clean, and anything that anybody that posts some spam or promotional things, I normally just I don't remove them from the community, but I remove the post. So if you can follow those rules, you're more than welcome to join this community. All right, let's get into the charts. There's a lot to talk. This video is going to be long, so if you don't have time to watch it, just stop it and watch it another day, another night, whenever you have time, because I'm going to go over a lot of stuff, and I don't want to be constrained to time, because I want to put my thoughts out there and let you see what I'm seeing, and hopefully this helps you out. So let's look at the commitments of trader report on the dollar, because the dollar's running the show, so we kind of have to see what's happening with the dollar. As you can see on the report on the 10th, on Tuesday, large speculators got all the way to 81,270, and then they dipped on the 17th at 79,726. They dipped even lower, so they were unwinding. On March 24, they got all the way down to 71,227, and then, interesting, they started buying again. On the last report of March 31st, you see the half 73,143. So they're starting to buy in. I'm sure retail is probably following again, and commercial is kind of flat. Commercial was what, 99, negative 99,774. They were super short here, and they unwinded here at 88, and now they're back to negative 92. So that's the net positions with future. Actually, I need to put options there, but it doesn't change much. Same thing, and this is where we're at. You can see it here more on the index. You see how it dipped, and now they're coming here and they're separating. So keep an eye on that. Looks like they want to go long again and maybe test this high here, or maybe test the high up there. So that's that. Let's go into the chart. I got a lot of stuff. So March the 13th, last couple of days, I've been trying to figure out, why did it make a pivot low here? There was no price and time tied to this date. So what I did was I looked into the astrological significance of this, because the price and time that I was looking for, it was related to more the dollar, which was 4-2 for the second. The dollar was coming to a price and time cluster on that day, and that's why I was thinking maybe the possible change in trend was going to come there. But I was thinking and this is my thinking, that we were going to go up here, let's say this is what we did, and that we were going to really slam down on 4/2, April 2nd, and do kind of like one last flush. I don't know, however we wanted to go low, and then that was it. So that was going to be your pivot low, and then whatever the euro is going to do, that was going to be your marker. And that's what I was thinking. The dollar was going to do, inverse. It was going to spike up, and then do its change in trend going down. But it hasn't done that. It didn't go to the top, like this didn't go to the low. We got a nice pop on the euro. We got a nice sell-off on the dollar. So you can see that this is a euro, but the dollar is starting to creep up again. So my thinking is, if the dollar creeps up and takes out, I'll show the dollar. If it takes out that April 2nd, high or open or whatever it is, if it takes that out, then that cycle became a dud. That price in time actually became a dud. And that one, I just wanted to make it clear. It related only to the dollar. Now this astrological significance of the 13th being the pivot low and has nothing to do with price and time, relates to the dollar and the euro together. So they both relate to that there. And I can't really go into depth for why it has astrological significance, but I was breaking my head trying to figure out why the cause and effect, as you hear in science and W.D. Gann talk. I was trying to figure this out. Why it may mean nothing. The euro could come back down, retest it low, and maybe even push lower. But as of now, this is our pivot low. I was curious, why is the 13? So anyway, I just want to make that clear. This blue line here is the 50. One thing to keep, see how it's been testing it and failed. And that 50 simple moving average, it cracked it here on the 9th, tested it here on that pivot high in the 7th. So a lot of investors, banks, institutions, they're not going to go long the euro unless the euro gets above the 50. This gray one is the 100 simple moving average. To me, that's the line in the sand. This is where investors want to take some risk. And you can see that right now. We tested it over there. Where are we over here? We failed it on the July 1st pivot high. We failed it right here on the December, I believe is the 16th spike. We failed it there. Right? Yeah, the 16th. Let me put my cross. Yeah, December 16th, we failed it here, and we haven't even touched it yet. Normally, they say that when you first touch the 50, you always fail it. It's like that thing on the Matrix. Neo, when he jumped, they say every time the people jump, they always fail. So, depending, if the market's really strong and it wants to just bypass the 50. But one thing that hesitated me from going long was that we never even got, above the 50 on the euro. So that's one thing you want to watch. And then you got the 100 over here. So, my reason for April 2nd on the US dollar, that was right here. A nice little scalp if you were short the dollar. And then the 23rd, you guys remember the 23rd of my Gann grid? That was the week of the 23rd, possible change in trend. The seasonal dates, the equinox, which is March the 21st. I didn't put that here, but obviously you know at least the seasons when they come and go. I'm losing everything over here. Yeah, so maybe there you go. So, and the 13th has an astrological significance. So I'm going to keep an eye on that 13th. I'm keeping an eye on the 2nd because it relates to the dollar. And then the 23rd, possible change in trend because of the Gann grid, and I'll show you that. And those are the things I wanted to show you here in this chart. Another thing, too, is the seasonal date to watch, which is the 14th coming up. The 14th is Monday, next Monday. So keep an eye on that. That's a seasonal date. This thing is creating a wedge. If we go here, and it's gonna get tight. And I mean, if it's gonna break out somewhere, the 13 is right here. So it's a seasonal date. So if I mean, anything could happen. Even today, it could break out. But sometimes prices just wait to the last minute. And if this is the low and it's gonna start doing higher highs and higher and higher lows, it's gonna have to deal with the 50. And once you get over the 50 or fails it and then shoots back up and gets over it, you're gonna see a bunch of bulls start showing up, because a lot of hedges and institutions, they love the 50. So that's a little tip for you guys. So keep that in mind, and watch the 100, and watch the 14th, which is coming up. One thing I wanted to show you too, why this is very interesting, and this has nothing to do time-wise. This has to do with price-wise, level-wise, right here. If you put a retracement, look where it hit, the 50%. 50% is at 10476. And it probably spiked it a little bit, but it held it. That's a 50% going back. Going back from 1984 low all the way to the 1992 swing high of the euro. So from the 1985 March the 31st swing low all the way to the 1992 September 30th swing high. And I'm just going to slide across so you can see. You see that it found support right here, went up. And this is monthly. Keep in mind, this is monthly. These big candles are a whole month. Pop up here, found support, fail new low, shot right back up. So it recognized it in 1997 on August 31st. It respected it that day. And then it kind of chopped around here for a couple of months. We keep going, and this is where we at, right here. 50% level. Gann said, always watch the 50% level. So now we go into the daily, that's where we at. So you have a level that seems to be a bottom on the euro, 50% level. You got astrological significance of the 13th. And you're creating a wedge. It's going to be very interesting. And all these cycles are all lining up right here. It's like a cluster zone. I'm already 13 minutes. So I just wanted to show you that. I know you're going to find that fascinating, interesting. And if you're becoming a bull, that may really convince you. If none of this stuff convinces you, at least maybe the 50% will convince you. So if things get crazy and the dollar goes nuts and spikes up, and this thing retests this, let me show you in a scenario. For whatever reason, we start failing, we start coming down, and we do a double bottom and shoot up. That could be a good entry in my book. And and it can retest it again, and it can retest it again, and maybe go down. But we got to see. We're dealing with possibilities, so keep an eye on that. And one of the reasons I say astrological significance, this is what I'm talking about. In the Bible it says that God said in the book of Genesis, and this is what W. Gann studied the Bible and everything, and he believed in it, and I also believe in it too. In the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 14 says, God said, I command lights to appear in the sky and to separate day from night and to show the times for seasons, special days, and years. So when I'm talking about astrological significance, I'm talking about this. I won't get into detail about this, but I'm just giving you a clue or an idea of what my research also includes. Let's get into the charts. Looking at the euro of the square Gann grid, you can see that this is from the all-time high of 2008, and we put a pivot low right here on this grid, right here, smack in the middle. Actually, it was here, but since these are weekends, and then we found resistance right here, smack right down. We need to get above this angle, and this is probably going to be support right here, and this pivot low, and right here. So this is where we're at today. So this is the action that we have right now. We'll get above here and start trailing, and this would be an angle support. And if you go do a pivot low here and do a 45, that could probably be your speed line. We could let you know where, how the euro is behaving in regards to a speed, momentum, and geometry going, sideways to north. So that's that on the Gann square. On the weekly, you can see that we got a nice pop here. This is all a grid of weeks. Kind of bearish. A nice pop here, and this week we're still kind of bearish, but like I said, into like a triangle wedge. Monthly, you can see that this was all negative, and now we're here positive. Hopefully we don't take this low right here, which is at 735. We chop around or whatever, but we take this high right here, that 1037. We could probably push higher to 1193, and if we push up here, then we're gonna go test some upper resistance. Anything else I want to show you? My saw. You can see that from here to here, 13 days of an impulse. We come down, so here is the next 13 days. So it should be interesting. There could be some action going on here, either a nice flush down or a nice surprise to the upside, retest this, blow it out, and continue. So this one, today's action, the 8th, could be interesting. What else? I don't think there's anything else. Natural cycles, something maybe I haven't shown. Everything is bottoming right here in regards to the natural cycles. You can see that some of the bottom here, and another bunch of cycles bottom here, and now they all start pointing up. And they start kind of topping, around the 23rd, pretty much like the last week of April. And when I mean, bottoming out, they were pretty much erratic coming down, and they all kind of cycle down here, and you see that they are kind of like all, changing cycles, going up and down, and these are all natural cycles. So interesting that everything is kind of lining up here in regards to that. The Bradley model, if you can see, the Bradley model is showing us a date coming up, which is the 12/13. So if nothing happens, in today's candle, the 8th action, things could really spice up the 12 and the 13, which I have as a seasonal date right here. So somewhere around here, if this thing gets really narrow, it's gonna explode somewhere. So keep an eye on that too. And I think that's it for this chart. I don't really have anything else. The dollar, the big dollar. This is where we're at. Let's show you the arc. Let's see. This is the arc right here, and you can see that the arc, we perfectly hit the resistance right at the circle, the first circular, right here, and chopped around. Got this nice flush. And now we're kind of having an inside week. Mind you, this is a weekly. So let's take, so you can show that this is a 50%. When it spiked up, it hit this 50% arc right here. And it hit this cycle, this first circle right here. Let's hide this. And let's show you the retracement levels. 96.17. Is that 96.17? Yep. We flushed right through it, found support. We need to crack this level if this dollar is going to start getting momentum to the downside. as long as it's above here, it still has some strength. And you can see that the bulls are not giving up. So keep an eye on that. Fans, you can see there's a 1x1 45-degree crossing right here. So it's strong because it's above there. And you guys know my time. This is what I was talking about on this chart, where I was saying the week of the 23rd, this is the Gann grid, and this is where could be a possible change in trend. And we're chopping around here. So let's see, you know, the Fed talking about, you know, they might hold back on, you know, the interest rate. So let's see how this is all going to pan out. Next chart I want to show you. You can see on the dollar, it's still strong. It's above the 50% here. There's 97.79. You can see the previous day range was still strong. Still kind of chopping around here, this pivot, and this is real time. Did a high here at 98.25. In regards to the daily and the weekly, we're kind of in the gray zone. On the 30-minute and the 5-tick, 1 day range, positive. And this, we got to find out when this day closes where we at. But if it closes, you know, definitely above the 97, it's going to be really strong. And on the weekly, if we close above 97, 76, 77 is going to be really strong. But if we dip down under it, then, you know, weakness is setting in stronger. No squeeze plays here. You can see in the 1 hour, the dollar's above the 50. It's above the 50s SMA. We're going to go retest this 50 on the 12 hour. And we're above the 50, but we're coming to the 20 on the daily. So we found support on the 50. You see how important the 50 is on the daily, and now we're coming to deal with this 20 simple moving average on the dollar, and we're at the what level is at the 12.5%. So it's really strong. I mean, the top is right here, 178. It's real strong. This is the next level from the 100, 12.5%. And then from that 12.5 is a 25%. So it's hanging in there. You know, it's still strong. Same thing here. It's finding resistance. This is weekly, and you can see it's finding support right here on the monthly. What we got here, as you can see on the weekly, we found resistance, which is the monthly, weekly. I think that's the monthly or weekly pivot. Right here, and this 96.65, these are monthly pivots. So all these in whites are monthly pivots, and it found support right here, and it's testing that. If we go to the where's my simple glance on the daily, you can see that it's in chop mode. We almost pierced it, haven't cracked the cloud yet, the Ichimoku cloud, but you can see that the Chiku is slowly catching up to price. If we keep going sideways here, you know, we're gonna see what's gonna happen when it gets here. But it's in the mobile, so that means chop. It kissed this monthly pivot of 98.25, which is the PP, and it's finding support at the value area high and the cloud. So this is kind of like some strong support. So the dollar's not giving out yet. This is the this is 4-2. This is the day that I was thinking the possible change in trend, and we're already smack almost like in the middle of that bar. So if we take out that high, then the calculation with price and time on the dollar became void right here. Just because this thing wants to do what it's going to do, and pretty much you want to follow the signal of what price action is telling you. And it could possibly maybe want to even test this high up here. But if you do, you know, maybe do a trend line coming down, you can see that maybe might find resistance coming down from here. I got an email asking me these grids that that are in toss, you know, for whoever has toss. You see right here. So this is the dollar's gonna have to deal with this angle right here too, and this pivot. They asked me if, you know, these grids here are part of TOS or whatever. No, these are drawn manually. So these I draw them from scratch. There's a video I have on my YouTube channel where it's called WD Gann Michael Jenkins, Michael S. Jenkins, WD Gann techniques, and I show you how I do them on TOS. But TOS doesn't have the TOS has the tools to do it, but you got to do it by hand. As you can see right here, the low of the dollar, the 1 by 1 intersects the 50 in time. So you got the 1 by 1 going down, you got the 1 by 1 going up, you got the 50 right here, 50 in time, 50 in price, angle, speed, and it's letting you know how strong the dollar is, and it's pretty strong. It's pretty strong. But we hit this grid, so we got to see what this dollar is going to do. Once the dollar starts cracking 96.17, there's going to be some big support, but it's going to be ways down, and that's some good money right there we can make. Imagine the euro popping inverse, popping this whole level going up. Should be make some money, shorting the dollar and the euro. So let's look at the big picture. This is all TOS stuff. Monthly, you can see that the cycles are starting to, the Fisher signal. I got the purple one, so it's starting to show. I got the red signal on the MMG showing some, weakness. I mean, it's still strong. Don't get me wrong, it's still strong, but it's these are signals telling me that a possible turn is in the horizon, and this is on the monthly. On the weekly, it showed it here on the 13th, and none of these have pointed up yet. There's a big spread here, blue TTM squeeze. But still strong, still hovering above the 12.5%. Looks like, full moon, we got that slam to the downside, found support at the 50, popped up, and now on the daily, you're going to have to deal with this 20. Fill that 20, you're going to push down, and if you take out that 50, that could be a good sign for bears piling up on the dollar. And you got the new moon coming up, which is 16/17. The 12-hour, you're kind of in chop zone, but biased to the upside, path of least resistance. You got a PPS buy signal, so it's pushing up. We got that nice flush down. Each candle is 12 hours, and you can see that things are starting to show to the upside, and everything went up. And this is 12 hours, so keep that in mind. And then we got some rejection up here at that 98.29, which showing you all the levels that we had over there. Sorry for making this a long video, but I figure, if you watched it all the way to the end, is because you find this thing fascinating, and that, you see some things very interesting that I hopefully you're learning. Take the good, throw away the bad. And hopefully this lets you know my thoughts on the euro and the dollar. I don't have any position on it now. I'm still flat. I mean, I'm trading other stuff to make money, but you have to be patient. You have to be like a sniper with a rifle. When you're gonna shoot, you're gonna shoot, and it's gonna your focus and your goal is that when you shoot, you just shoot once, and let this thing rip and go in the direction that you wanted to go, or you're hoping, or the direction you're forecasting and planning, and then ride the wave, trail your stops until you get stopped out. So that's why I got stopped out here with these nice this nice pop, and now I'm waiting for the nice perfect. I'm waiting for the euro to tell me what's gonna do. I'm already knowing that this is a nice little bottom, and I'm waiting for it to signal and let me know that's it. I'm ready to rip. I found support. I found it in time, and I found it at price level at a 50. And now I'm chopping around, and it looks like it's waiting for something. And it looks like if it's into this wedge, it looks like it's going to run out of time soon, and it's going to do something. And when it does it, that's where I'm going to pull the trigger, especially getting above the 50 SMA, and especially the dollar, cracking this 1 by 1 and this 96.17, pushing it down, and might chop around here because it's some support. Once it cracks that, it's going to go straight down to find support in this angle. It's going to hit that 89.89, may chop around, push even lower, and that's what I'm waiting for this dollar to, start finding and trending lower. And that's it. Hope this video helps. I'll keep you posted on my thoughts, either on video or on updates, and make some pips.